Back to follow-up segment tonight. As you know, there are a number of criminal cases around the country regarding children sending naked pictures of themselves to other children. This is called sexting, and in some places it's a violation of the child pornography law. Now, that may be an overreaction, but there is no question that kids using high tech in the sex area becoming a very big problem, but not for everyone. A Toronto college professor, Peter Cumming, is saying this kind of stuff is just like, ready? Spin the bottle. Can you believe this nut? Joining us now from Boston, Fox News contributor Dr. Keith Ablow. Now, I would ordinarily ignore an extremist like this, a crazy guy like this, but he was speaking at a big conference in front of about 4,000 people in Toronto, Canada. Apparently he's at the York University up there. And he says, quote, I want you to react to this quote. This is just amazing. In Bush's America, is there a middle ground between child pornography, sexual assault, abuse, and exploitation on the one hand, and children's abstinence on the other? Are youth in America eternally condemned to being non-sexual adults in training, when in Western culture did nudity become pornography? Did children's sexuality become perverse? And when and how and why have we forgotten children's participatory rights as sexual beings? That's exactly what NAMBLA, the North American Man-Boy Love Association, puts out there, that children have a right to decide whatever sex stuff they want to decide, and adults have no right to interfere. This is a college professor putting this out. Now, I know it happened in Canada, but Canada, you know, come on. How do you react?
Well, look, this is an English professor, by the way, professor of English literature. I spoke to Peter Cumming. I called him up and I spoke to him. He did make clear he's talking about young people with young people, different situation if adults are involved, if they start spreading this stuff by cell phone around the internet. But what he misses, Bill, clearly, is that technology is urging, if you will, it's eliciting this increasing sexual behavior from kids. This isn't spin the bottle. Let's be honest. Spin the bottle took place in private homes. It was about kissing. At least when I participated, I don't know about you, it wasn't filmed and we weren't naked. And we weren't sending these images to other young people via cell phone.
Every sane person knows the difference between spin the bottle and this. But what I want to get in, you talk to this guy, that's interesting. Look, this is an enabler.
Absolutely.
He's enabling this. He's saying, hey, don't worry about these kids. That's a rite of passage. All of these kids have a right. They have a right to be adults in training in the sexual area. The kids hear that and they grab that. Now, what would you do to this guy? I mean, he teaches at a university. He's speaking about this. It's not being challenged in the secular progressive media. What would you do to him?
Well, here's the bottom line. He has to be marginalized, and he has to be known for exactly what he's promoting here. For instance, Dr. Cumming didn't object to the notion that two young people might eventually send video clips to one another of a sexual union they had.
Sure, that's fine for him.
This being similarly a rite of passage. I don't think he understands that in a dehumanized society, a society devoid of spirit, in which the family has been marginalized, and in which the responsibilities of parents have been minimized, that sex is taking over.
You don't think he understands that?
That's the way our kids are expressing themselves.
He's part of the reason that happened. You don't think he understands it? He wants it to happen. He wants a free-for-all. That's what secular progressives want. You got to read my book, Culture Warrior. This is what they want.
I think I'm a traditionalist.
Well, you are a traditionalist.
Listen, I think that
but the traditionalists don't understand the enemy. The enemy is Dr. Cummings, who basically tells children, hey, do what you want. Remember the Boulder, Colorado high school controversy a couple of years ago, where they brought in these nuts from Los Angeles who told them to use drugs and to have sex and do whatever they want to do, while the principal and the teachers sat around, said nothing, and the whole student body was in there going, whoa, let's party. Remember that? That's what this is.
Absolutely. And listen, this comes from somebody who says, he's an English professor, right? And so what did he do? He looked at 4 middle school students, and not at the students themselves. He looked at news reports about what they had done. They had been distributing photos of themselves to each other via cell phone, naked photos. And by looking at the news reports, he comes out with this global statement that this is okay. It's just like playing spin the bottle. Well, it's not. It's damaging to young people. It's a slippery slope that goes to other places, and it has no moral judgment attached to it. There's an absence of moral judgment, an absence of parental influence, and as you said, a free-for-all in the making.
All right, Doctor, thanks very much.